Hello and welcome everyone. Myself Mijanur Rahaman and today my topic of discussion is skin. Today we will discuss about the layers of the skin and the function of the skin only. Let us introduce skin. Skin is a protective covering for the body and minimizing the loss of water from the body tissues. Various sensory nerve endings on the skin help to protect the body from the injury by invoking inappropriate responses to noxious stimuli. The skin also plays a very important role in the temperature regulation also. Structure. There are mainly two layers. One is epidermis and dermis. Someone also says that there is a third layer called hypodermis. Someone also says, some book also says that. Now, the two main layers that are epidermis and dermis, let us discuss first. First of all, epidermis. Epidermis is the most superficial layer and is composed of stratified squamous type of epithelium. From outside to inward, stratified epithelium may be divided into five more layers. So epidermis has got five more layers also. So these are stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum germinativum. So first of all, stratum corneum. Stratum corneum is the most superficially placed layer. The cells are keratinized and the cell outlines are indistinct and the nuclei are absent. This layer is the thickest at the sole and the palm and the thinnest in and the lip, hairs, loops, nails, feathers, scales, etc. are special outgrowth of this layer. So what are the points of stratum corneum? Stratum corneum is the most superficially placed layer. The cells are keratinized, the cells outlines are indistinct, and nuclei are absent. The layer is the thickest at the sole and the palm, and thinnest at the lip. And the special outgrowth of this layer are hairs, loops, nails, feathers, scales, etc. Then stratum lucidum. Stratum lucidum, this is a thin, more or less transparent layer, 3 to 5 cells deep, placed below the stratum corneum, and the cell outlines are indistinct and the nuclei are also absent. The cell contain droplets of elidin, and which is the precursor of keratin. Now, stratum granulosum. It is situated below the lucidum and consists of 3 to 5 layers of flattened polyhedral cells filled with keratohyalin granules which take a deep stain with hematoxylin. Then the fourth layer, stratum spinosum. It is a broad layer of variable thickness and is made up of polyhedral cells. The surface of these cells is apparently covered with a minute spines which interdigitate with similar spines of the adjacent cell, and these are consequently known as prickle cells. As the cells move towards the surface and keratin is synthesized within them, and the microscopic studies indicate that the prickle cells are in fact cytoplasmic protrusion, and the branches from two cells actually do not have any cytoplasmic continuity but attached by well developed cytoplasmic nodes called desmosomes, and these cells are basophilic and are supported by a network of cytoplasmic fibrils scattered irregularly throughout this layer are branched star-shaped cells known as Langerhans cell and demonstrable by appropriate technique. The function of these cells are not known and they are capable of active synthesis of DNA. So these are the fourth layer, and the last layer of epidermis is stratum germinativum or stratum malpighi. This growing layer is composed of a single layer of the columnar epithelium which has got transverse thin short cytoplasmic processes on its basal lamina by means of which they anchor the epithelium to the underlying dermis. These cuboidal to columnar cells with oblong nuclei placed perpendicularly on the basement membrane produce new cells to replace those the above cell layers by the process of mitosis, and mitotic activity of the cell epidermis occurs in rhythmic diurnal cycle. The greatest activity of the epidermis occurs in rhythmic diurnal cycle, and the greatest activity in human occurring during the hours of sleep. At the junction of the epidermis with the dermis, there occur number of melanin-containing branch cells known as melanocytes, and they send processes among the Malpighian cells and the melanin present in the deeper cells of the stratum. Now, Malpighi produced by these melanocytes, cytokine secretion transfers the fully formed melanin granules from melanocyte to the Malpighian cells. The ratio of melanocyte to basal epidermal cells varies between 1 to 4 and 1 to 10. Now, epidermis of the body in general. Above characteristic features of the epidermis are mostly present on the palm and sole, and epidermis in general of the other than soles and palms is thin, and stratum malpighi and the stratum corneum are always present. Stratum corneum is also thin and just indefinable, inidentifiable. Definite stratum lucidum is not seen. Now the diagram. You can see that the stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum, stratum germinativum, all the cell layers, and also you can see the prickle cells, melanocyte, papillae, sweat glands, subcutaneous fat, erector spilorum, hair follicle, reticular layer of corneum. This type of structure you can see in the diagram also. Now, the dermis or cutis vera or true skin. The true skin is made up of connective tissue and lies below the epidermal layer, which it supports and binds to the underlying tissue. It is made up of chiefly of collagens and the elastic fibers, which provide it with a tensile strength equal to that of a skin steel wire. This layer is utilized for the production of leather after chemical processing. From this structural point of view, the superficial part of the dermis is compact and forms the papillary layer because it sends innumerable finger-like projection or papillae into the prickle cells composed of rather loose connective tissue and is infiltrated with fat. This layer constitutes what is called reticular layer of dermis. The reticular layer of dermis merges into imperceptibility into the subcutaneous layer of fat. Now, cells of the dermis. These are fibroblasts which the fibrous tissue of the dermis develops. These cells are belonging to the reticuloendothelial system which protects the body from invading bacteria. Some of these cells are loaded with melanin pigments and are known as melanophores. Besides the above two types of cell, dermis also contains other type of cells which is found in the areolar tissue of the other region of the body. Now, blood vessels of the dermis. Though the epidermis is devoid of blood vessels, the dermis has got a luxuriant supply of capillary blood vessels which is formed by a network which hairpin loops supply the tip of the dermal papillae. The blood vessels play an important role in temperature regulation and have got rich vasomotor innervation. There is also well organized lymphatic system in the dermis. Nerves of the dermis. Besides the vasomotor nerve mentioned above, the dermis is provided with sensory nerve ending of the various type which keep the individual informed about the surroundings. Now, glands of the dermis. The lower end of the sweat gland reach deep part of the dermis and act as a island for regrowth of epidermis in case of injury or burns involving loss of epidermis. Sebaceous glands located in the dermis open into the hair follicle and secrete oily material called sebum. And the ceruminous gland of the external auditory meatus and mammary gland are modified sweat glands. So what are those? The Cereminous glands of the external auditory meatus, and the mammary gland is also a modified sweat gland. You can must remember. Muscle of Dermis, corneum, Erectorus pilorum, a small bundle of involuntary muscle attached to the hair in such a way that they cause the hair to stand on end. Tunica dartos and other involuntary muscle of the skin of the penis, nipple, and areola are located deep in the dermis. Nowadays, melanocytes are used instead of melanoblast. Melanoblast is now used for such cell in embryonic life. Now we will come to know the pigmentation of the skin, how the pigmentation occurs in the skin. The color of the human skin is derived from a variety of chemical and physical properties associated with the skin structure. 5 pigments are known to influence skin color. All individuals except albinoes have some melanin pigment in their skin. Melanin is a yellow to black pigment which is found mainly in stratum malpighi and is formed on a specific cell particle in the melanosome within the melanocytes. In man, melanosomes are uniformly elongated except red-haired individuals where they are spherical. During pregnancy, the pigmentation of the areola of the nipples increases and melanin contributes the color quality of the skin and protects the organism from ultraviolet rays. The stability of the melanosomes after their incorporation into the cytoplasm of Malpighian cells, along with their absolute increase in number, is the main cause of the marked difference in the skin color between black and white individuals. Melanoid is supposed to be degradation product of the melanin and is diffused through the epidermis. Melanoid has a different absorption band of visible light. Keratin is a yellow-orange pigment and present in lipid-rich areas, that is, stratum corneum and the fat of the corneum, corium, and subcutaneous tissue. Keratin adds the strong yellow component of the skin color of the woman in greater concentration than that of men. Oxyhemoglobin imparts a reddish hue to the skin color and evident or to areas where there is a rich arterial supply like face, neck, palms, soles, and nipples. Reduced hemoglobin contributes a bluish or purple character to the skin color and is more evident in lower areas of the trunk. And melanin concentration and skin thickness have a tendency to suppress the hemoglobin pigment color component effects. The distribution pattern and the concentration of these pigments also influence the skin color. Variation in the thickness of the skin may modify the skin color. Subjects with the epidermis have a redder color complexion and with a thicker epidermis look yellower. The thick epidermis is less transparent than the thin, and the thin epidermis allows the color of the blood pigments to express their color characteristics more readily. The light scattering qualities of the skin may also act as a factor modifying skin color. As the transparent stratum corneum scatters light slightly, the effect of the light in the overlying coarser tissue layer where dark pigment granules are commonly found. And pigmentation of the skin is supposed to protect the underlying tissue against the potentially harmful effects of solar radiation. So this is for now. In the next video, we will discuss about the function of the skin. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to support my channel and me. Thank you so much.